Today's episode of Friday Frights is brought to you by the great people over at GrowGeneration.com. Check them out. We're the pros. Go to grow. More on them a little later in the episode. Ah! I'm done being stupid and immature. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to LRMornings. It is a wonderful Friday, and I am Kyle, and joined usually by the same guy.
The same guy, Manny.
There you go. What's up, man?
Nothing much, man. I got my vaccine yesterday. My left arm feels useless.
There was only one person that I knew personally that has had anthrax shots like I have, and the COVID vaccination. They just opened our area up to phase two, which is everyone else, the working group that probably should have been second after first responders and medical, but he said the anthrax shots are notoriously painful afterwards, like for hours to a couple days, depending on the person and depending on what shot in the series. And he said it was very similar. So I can say that I have at least felt similar pain, if not potentially worse.
I just didn't expect it to like be that sore this morning.
Oh, yeah.
So when I rolled over in bed and like laid on it, I was like, ow. So anywho,
that's like whenever you ramp up for new deployment, you're always going to have a bunch of fresh kids out of basic AIT, maybe in the military a year or so, and they're about to get their first anthrax shot, and all of the old timers are like, yeah, PT's going to be fun in the morning.
Oh no.
Front lead in rest position. Oh God, I don't want to do that. Oh God, it hurts. It's awesome, man. And pain, torture, and agony kind of fits in with one of our Friday segments that we're gonna have here on the show. And
are we talking more about Sony?
Well, that is kind of scary, but the fact that they got so much power over a few properties that I really love. But no, man, horror movies, something I'm such a huge fan of. Did several episodes of LRM Ranks It with Brian and my uncle on horror movies, and that last year all the holidays kind of took a backseat to other shit going on, and I kind of missed out on Halloween being like the scary time of year. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of wanted to chit chat about horror films for a few minutes, introduce the idea of the segment, as we're getting theaters back and scary movies are gonna start hitting out more, and things like that. And yeah, Manny, what's kind of like your experience with horror? Is it a genre you're into, or?
So the funny thing is, I wasn't that. Well, I'm a liar, because I've seen all the Conjuring movies. I've seen all the classics, the Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, the Nightmare on Elm Street,
but not necessarily like Suspiria or like off the beaten path stuff.
I don't think I necessarily understood the genre as much as I do now, and that's due to the fact that one of the first streaming services that I really worked with as far as for interviews and things like that was Shudder.
Nice.
Is Shudder still? I work with Shudder quite a bit, so a lot of times you'll see whatever is new on Shudder is usually what I'm covering as far as interviews, and so it's taken me to see quite a wide variety of different movies. So like everything from the high production Conjuring films and everything, all the way down to the I watch like now international horror films
Yeah.
and that are in Spanish and different outlooks. So I appreciate them for different reasons. And now I also understand better subgenres of like slashers, thrillers, just gory pieces of shit that I'm like, who likes to watch this?
The gore porn. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I realized that I enjoy Saw, and then I couldn't really say much because that's what that is. But Saw, the first one, oh my god, that film, that was so well done. It takes place in mostly in a room. Then there's there's a bunch of things about horror that I understand now about the artistry of it, and speaking with filmmakers and things and what they're looking for. I've grown such an appreciation for it. I think one of the craziest films I've seen is Midsummer.
Yeah.
That thing was so weird and nuts, and it wasn't necessarily scary, but man, it was so good. And so yeah, man, it's something I really enjoy. This weekend I'll be just to plug myself for the site. I'll have a couple of pieces based on some interviews I did with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Eric Step. I forgot his last name. I'm sorry. He's the director and the writer for The Unholy, which came out last weekend from Sony, which was fairly good.
Yeah, and them and I forget which imprint does a lot of their horror stuff. Yeah, I'll give that, but that's cool, man. I love it when somebody that's not necessarily into it, like maybe seen the classics, like the mandatory stuff, whether that's Universal's classic monsters or like the big three slashers, Freddy, Jason, Michael. It's always great when they start discovering, like I said, those foreign movies, stuff from Argento or getting deeper into who Romero and God, there's another Italian, and Brian's gonna kick my ass for getting his name, and I can't get it right now. But anyways, and we had that huge Asian horror fad for a moment when America started remaking Grudge and Ring and all of that. And I of course had seen horror from Korea, China, Japan, of course. And it's always great getting to see people find all these different like you said, subgenres and takes on it, and somebody finding something in horror that really makes them tick the same as like a comic book movie does for us as well, but especially like Nick, he comes out of, he's like Kevin Smith 2.0. He comes out of every comic book movie. That was the greatest comic book movie ever.
Yeah. That's a great way to describe him. He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
The one of the things I really enjoy now is the fact that I can kind of like spot differences and enjoy different things, like scares, like, ooh, that was good, or ooh, that wasn't good, and have a reason for it and be able to validate it. And I think one of my eye-opening films that I saw that I was like, I need to check out more international films is my girlfriend for almost like over a month had been pestering me to watch a Korean zombie movie called Train to Busan.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then one night she almost like guilt tripped me into doing it. I was like, all right, we're gonna watch it or not? And I was like, okay, fine, let's watch it. And then I was like, holy crap, that was really good.
Yes.
And so now I'm so, and then after she's very, very much into horror. And so she took me by the hand and then took me on this journey, and then with better movies. And because sometimes Shudder movies aren't necessarily the greatest. Some are pretty good, but so I've been getting everything from both sides. like her favorites, and then I get obviously new stuff. But being able to understand what to look for in horror has been so much fun
Mhm.
because, like you said, it's just like another genre. Like for comedies, we're looking for laughs.
Yep.
For horror films, we're looking for scares and for being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And when actors and then storyline is able to deliver that, it makes me feel so great. And it's weird because why would you want to feel that way? But you know, it's it is what it is. You know, it's enjoyable. I always say, you know, horror films for me are like a roller coaster ride because of the way that, you know, in a comedy, yeah, you'll laugh and everything and you move, and then thrillers, you're exciting superhero movies, whatever. But it's only horror movies sometimes where you can just start squirming and twitching
Mhm.
and moving and trying to adjust yourself because you're not physically uncomfortable, but you're emotionally uncomfortable, and that kind of, you know, dictates
Yeah.
everything else.
It can lead to physical uncomfortableness
Yeah.
easily. Um, I I love and it doesn't happen as much because I got a young kid that's not into horror yet. He does like Ghostbusters. He can watch the librarian ghost without covering his eyes, which is great at 7 years old. You know, just turned 7 in November, so there's hope for him. I kind of had to do who similar to your girlfriend with my wife. She'd seen most of the classic stuff, but like she hadn't even seen Bram Stoker's Dracula. She'd never seen Alien or Aliens
Okay.
for that matter. And so I've gotten to take her on that and that same type of trip, but making sure we stop off for good old fashioned fun like Critters.
Okay.
Can't get her to do Killer Tomatoes yet, but that's going to happen. The tough one is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That's a tough sell for her.
Such a good movie.
It is, man. I remember I was like, God, maybe 9 or 10, I think when I saw that, and when the first time they stick the straw in to, you know, feed, I'm like, oh, that's so fucked up. It's awesome.
It's horrible. Yeah. I think that the worst part of that film was when they're at the diner and the clown's trying to lure the kid out with the hammer behind him. I was
Yep.
like, oh my God, this is so messed up. I don't like this.
Oh.
Yeah,
What a
no. My daughter actually watches, she's 10, she watches some horror films. And the reason she's able to do it is she's gone to a variety of conventions with me
mm-hmm.
where she's been able to first hand see like makeup effects
Mm-hmm.
and also see sometimes special effects as
Mm-hmm.
far as how some of those scenes are done. Also meeting cosplayers who cosplay as,
Yeah.
you know, different horror icons. And then and in Stockton Con here in California, they have a zombie club or zombie group.
Mm-hmm.
So her being able to kind of be around people who are like very good at makeup effects and see that it's not real, uh enjoys the genre.
I can see that. It kind of like pulling back the veil early on, so that way there's no like worry about, is that real? Did that
Right.
really have? Is this a real story? Is that killer exist? You know, when you go to a, because we use this saying, you mentioned roller coasters, and that's what horror movies do, is get the endorphins
Mhm.
flowing, and that's addictive. Same thing with tattoos, roller coasters, and to an extent, combat tour. I know adrenaline junkies, they hate leaving home every time, but whenever there's an opportunity to go, they're just driven by that
Mhm.
that rush that you can never ever top again, you know. But it's always great with horror movies chasing that dragon, haha, joke, because that's one thrill and one chemical within your body that you can enjoy all way
I
long.
I think one thing I've come to understand about horror is that sometimes your story's gonna suck.
Hmm.
But the ride is still pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think early on that's one of my biggest hurdles was understanding that
Hmm.
concept that you know what, man, like you're gonna have to actually enjoy this film
What it
for its
is.
special for moments and sometimes even just specific actors play just doing a really good job, or just the effects were just really really great.
Hmm.
um so there's just so much to, well, like with any genre though, but like there's just so much to uncover. The hardest genre I have, as far as covering for interviews, is actually comedies. just because I
So
don't
many of them.
that and then I just don't. Some of the I've had great conversations with filmmakers when they make comedies, but I think I enjoy the horror a little bit more because a lot of times there's like sub themes and different ideas that they're trying to convey. I know that yeah, and I have so much fun with them. I did this film called The Cleansing Hour,
Hmm.
which is all takes place in one room, and it's like somebody who got possessed and everybody's stuck in the room with them, and it was done really really well.
Kind of
I'm
like
not
the Thing, but on instead of aliens, demon possession.
Yes, well, no, actually, well, the thing is, the film was actually a con man who was conning
Mm.
social media to think that he was an exorcist, uh and that he could perform them, but he would have actors do, it was a set. And in this case, a demon actually possessed her actress and was just messing with them the whole time to kind of prove that he was a fake.
Yeah.
And man, that was done so well. Anywho, yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. Horror, and the one thing I can't do, I'm gonna be real honest with you, and my girlfriend for now hates me for it, but maybe in the near future I will turn a corner. I cannot do haunted houses
Uh,
currently. And the thing is that I don't know. I feel like I'd enjoy them, but at the same time, whoo, man, like because I'm not so far from Hollywood for like
mm,
Universal Horror Nights, and they do some crazy mazes in
hmm.
the valley where it's like a forest haunted maze or
Yep.
whatever. And so, but man, mm-mm. No, not
Love
there
them.
yet.
Lucas had actually done a couple at Busch Gardens and King's Dominion in Virginia, and when he was younger, and they had one, the antique car ride
Mm.
at
Yeah.
almost every amusement park. They
Mm.
turned that into a haunted ride. So you actually drive through. They got both scenes with animatronics and actors
Mm.
throughout the area, and that was his very first haunted house. He did a couple of walkthroughs. That exposure therapy, if you will, though, I think works for a lot of people. But before my physical conditions really limited my ability to ride, and now I have to have edibles and immediate pain relief in order to do things like that, and we don't do them often. But the idea was with him, we love riding, and we wanted to make sure he did too. So we started taking him to every fair, every theme park, even when he wasn't big enough to ride, and it was just me and my wife, and we were literally at Universal Studios riding every ride by ourselves. But it was just to expose him to the sights, the sounds, and as he got older and taller, every ride he could get on, he got on it. Fear. Even if he'd be like on some of the rides, like white knuckle grip, he'd get off. You'd be like, "You like that? Yeah. You want to do it again? Yeah." He'd be back on it. It was great. Loved it. Oh man, yeah. Horror's great for that. I love the endorphins that come with it. Like I said, have you seen but Behind the Mask, the Rise of Leslie Vernon yet?
No, I have not.
I don't know if it's still on Shudder. I had Verve or VRV or whatever it's called back when Shudder was shared on that, and they used to have it. I can't. That is like my number one suggestion to everyone as far as like a non. It's not too gory. It's a slasher flick, and it's just got a great premise. It's like a dark comedy for the first two acts, and then Act 3, there's a shift in camera, and it's so good, guys. And but Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, check it out. It is absolutely outstanding. Is there a movie you can't watch? Like you've seen it once or parts of it, and nope, never happening again.
That's gonna be a funny pick, but Saw 2. There's a scene in it where they have a person in a machine with all their limbs spread out, and it's twisting them. It's the bone crunching sound that I cannot handle. And then there's also a scene in there with where the girl gets dumped into a pit of needles. Yeah. And you know what's funny is like you would think like some of the other stuff would also be the same, but just those two, the imagery of both of those is really I think the sound of the bone crunching was the absolute worst thing I've ever heard. And I've seen quite a bit of other stuff too, but that was just, I couldn't handle that. I got through it because I love the franchise. I think it's a great franchise, and I'm really looking forward to Spiral.
Yeah. That looks cool.
But yeah, that was for me the absolute one film that I can say I won't be ever watching again.
I got scarred legitimately, like psychologically. I've spoken to therapists about this because I can't get over it. I'm 36. I cannot get over Fire in the Sky. It's an alien abduction movie. I used to think aliens were like the coolest thing in the world. It deals with an alleged, real abduction by, of course, gray fucking graylings, right? I can't even look at graylings. I get nightmares to this day. I don't believe I don't believe graylings exist, maybe, but I don't, I'm not like a believer in grays as in the aliens of it, whatever, but I wanted to watch Spielberg's Taken series back on HBO years and years ago. Dude, I got through it one episode at a time, basically having to turn away when the grays were on screen, which was quite often when they're not controlling humans or in a human form. And I had nightmares for weeks, but it was a good story, much better than Fire in the Sky. But yeah, to this day, pictures of a gray will cause my heart to skip a beat and just jack up the adrenaline. And it's so stupid, but I can't deal with it, man.
That's super interesting, man. Yeah. So like you've never seen like Fourth Kind or
can't watch
Arrival?
No, only Graylings.
Oh, Graylings, okay.
Only I can watch anything with and if it's a very cartoony gray, like Crypto from Destroy All Humans, that doesn't bug me. But
that's a good game.
Yeah, a lot of fun. But that traditional grayling, Close Encounters, gone. Fourth, gone. What's that one with the little boy that was taken from his house? I think Kerry Russell was in it. I think so, but all of those and Netflix documentaries, like if I see a picture, dude, like I'll drop the remote. Like, no joke, it's burned in me. I can't get over it. It's so stupid. But anyways, what's not stupid is growgeneration.com sponsoring our wonderful discussion here about horror movies. Maybe they can help you get into the genre by allowing you to grow things that could, relax you, sit you into the couch a little bit, and make sure you're in the proper form to absorb the greatness that is what you're about to watch. Behind the Mask, the rise of Leslie Vernon. Take it away. Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation offers the best deals and discounts on the best grow products on the market. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring the video. Really appreciate that. Manny, let's carry on from horror unless you got anything else to say on it.
No, we can talk horror all day.
We definitely could. And you guys let us know what other type of things you would like to see us do with this horror segment on Fridays in the comments below, or social media at the Malone, at LRM_ Emmanuel at LRM_ exclusive. Any of those. Yeah. You're a comic book guy. I like a lot of what Mark Miller starts. I don't necessarily like everything the way he ends everything. What did you read the Jupiter's Legacy books at all?
No, I haven't. Okay. To be honest with you, I've tried very hard to get into Mark Miller's work. Yeah, and I can't do it. I don't know what it is about it, and I've really tried because I've wanted to be in tune with a lot of the stuff that we're seeing that's going to come out, that has come out. I mean, even like Kick-Ass and Hit Girl, stuff like that. I just can't get into it, man. I don't really have an explanation why, but I just. Do
you like the movies or none of it?
Movies or whatever. Also, like, I've seen them, and I won't necessarily ever be watching them again. It's just not my thing. I don't know.
So that's a great person to ask them. What'd you think of that Jupiter's Legacy trailer?
It was okay, and I'll probably check it out just to see it. But there's still even some other things on Netflix that are higher on my list that I haven't seen. Like, I haven't finished Lock and Key, which I really wanted to.
It's good. I liked it. We liked it.
And so, I mean, when that comes out, it might just be like, oh, it came out already, and I'll probably scroll through it and forget about it, to be honest with you, with how much stuff I have to watch. But yeah, it's not high up on my list. I'm not very excited for it. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't until I saw it on Netflix that I really like previews and things like that, the media sheets that they send over, and I really even knew that it existed. Yeah. So I don't know.
Like I said, there's several things in the Big Two that he wrote that got popular for people. I, of course, enjoyed Ultimates 1 and 2. There's rumors and theories out there. I'm not going to go into them, but Ultimates 1 and 2 has his name on it. Those were good. 1985 from Marvel. The idea that a kid that reads Marvel comic books and the Marvel villains find a rip through universes to come into his world, and he has to go to their world to get the Avengers to come save his world from Doctor Doom and stuff like that. And really cool idea. This looked like a CW show. The quality of the effects, I don't know if that's what they're aiming for on purpose, to make it like that 90s era comic book movie aesthetic. Then that kind of what it reminded you of, that Smallville kind of had that same feel as like the Shoemaker, whatever fucking Batman films. But
that's kind of its time too. So
yeah, and this kind of felt like it.
yeah, and I can't. So for yeah, I guess I can see what you're saying. I'm over here trying to defend Smallville. Like he does. No,
No, it's good. I like
I know.
small.
No, I know. But my brain automatically went into fight mode. It was like, fight me, Kyle. Are you saying
No.
Smallville? Um, yeah, no, I expect a little bit more, and I do understand that to some degree. Netflix is probably, how much money they've been pouring into all this stuff, and I understand that others. Well, if it's a Millar project, that means Netflix is heading it, right?
Mhm.
Because
That's his deal with
yeah,
them. Yeah.
so yeah, it probably need because no, I probably need a little bit more. Just to separate itself from, like you said, the CW and even DC Universe. Well, that doesn't exist anymore. The HBO Max
Hmm.
DC shows. Um, just because I think that when you make it kind of with that, like everyone understands that the CW shows are what they are.
Yeah.
They've accepted them for what they are. They have
Yep.
an established fan base. So if it doesn't look so amazing, you're like, it's a TV budget. Or
Yeah, and it's
technically,
yeah.
Netflix is also a TV budget if you think about it. So I don't blame them necessarily for it, but in with the property like that, maybe you want to spend a little bit more to
Yeah.
showcase that. The important thing for me, I think, would be is like Netflix. You need to showcase that you can actually make comic book shows very well, especially when you start talking about superheroes, because they did a good job with like Umbrella Academy
Hmm.
and other things like Lock and Key. Obviously done really well. I haven't finished it, but so far I've loved it.
Yes. Good.
So yeah, you have proven that you can do comic book adaptations,
Hmm.
but when you start getting to superheroes, which is a whole other nutshell, it needs to be pretty crisp,
Yeah,
unless
these
you're
are capes, like traditional cape
right.
story.
Yeah, and then you can even look at like Amazon, what they're doing with the boys and how good they look.
Hmm.
So you can't there's not a lot of room for like, oh well, we didn't want to, no, they're doing it well over there. I'm not well, HBO Max actually hasn't done fairly bad with Titans or with Doom Patrol. They look great. So yeah, it probably needed a little bit to be a little bit more refined. I think that's the word I was looking for. I went around in circles for about 10 seconds there trying to look for the word refined.
Um, like my only curiosity is if that aesthetic is a purposeful change, but
Mhm.
it or a purposeful choice. If it is a choice, then you kind of you kind of almost have to figure out a way to let the audience know that ahead of time. Because I saw it and I was like, that looks cheap, and I don't
Mhm.
necessarily like. I liked the drama. I like a lot of the cast. I like the idea behind the story from what I gathered from the trailer. This whole passing on the torch, the older heroes reaching their end, but they've had this really long longevity, life and legacy, and like I can see where there's potentially a really good, interesting story there. But I'm that person that can't even watch the new Ninja Turtles because I can't get past the aesthetic.
Oh, really?
I
I'm sorry.
I can't stand the way they look. I don't like the story idea of changing the brothers' dynamic as much as they did, and not just Raph being in charge, but like taking Leonardo's personality and splitting it between the other three, and then putting half of Mikey into the missing chunks of Leo. Like that, maybe with a good enough story, I could accept them as just a different take on the but the animation is just, oh god, it's gross. I can't. Nope, can't do it. So, Jupiter's Legacy trailer. Neither one of us feeling too much there either. Apparently, let's stick on the Netflix train. And dude, what do you think about that Netflix Sony deal?
What's good for Sony? They need a place for their stuff, and it's good for Netflix because they need more content. I mean, you have so many competing services now, And I think the ones who are being left high and dry is actually Netflix, really,
Mm.
um, because of the fact that everyone's really found a home for all their things and they found their niche. I mean, Paramount Plus, they're gonna have all the Star Trek stuff.
Mhm.
Um, one of the other, I mean, they have all the seasons of Survivor and all those
The
kinds of
Nickelodeon
the
things as well.
Nickelodeon
I was
stuff.
watching
And
Fairly Odd Parents the other day.
also, they have not champions. They have a bunch of different soccer leagues, which is going to be actually be really do really well for them. HBO Max, obviously. I think I'm not gonna. I think even as as theaters reopen and uh things get back to normal, I think they're gonna keep their feature films on HBO Max because it's working really well for them. So don't be surprised if
They change their mind for a third time.
yeah, no, I mean, they get quite a bit of subscribers, and they've done it because people want to watch the Snyder Cut. They really wanted to watch Kong versus Zilla, and now you have Mortal Kombat coming up. You
Mortal
have the
Com-
next Conjuring film. You have Spiral. You have Suicide Squad. I mean, Dune. I just so many different movies like once a month. It makes it worth it to get the HBO Max, and then you're gonna have all the DC people back on there with when Titans is back, and so it's good for Netflix. Sorry, yeah, for Netflix to be able to partner with Sony. I know you're not the biggest fan of Sony right now, but they can do other smaller films. I mean, Monster Hunter wasn't very good either. Um, and what else do they have over at Sony? Um,
they could have a lot, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They have Valiant. They got the contract to do Valiant, but they screwed up with Bloodshot. I heard that was garbage.
I didn't necessarily enjoy Bloodshot either, and
I haven't seen it. That's why I didn't
I'm
say it was gar. I
a
heard.
huge Bloodshot fan too.
Yeah. So was it disappointing or just?
Just the vision of what
Mm,
they were going for, it didn't resonate. Even using him as the classic, kind of killer character that Bloodshot is in the classics, not necessarily the humanity that Dinesh Shamdashani's era had given him with um uh the right the books that they did. I'm trying to remember the writers. Jeff Lemire, he did
mm.
such a fantastic job with him from the Valiant on in a variety of series that he did. And it also may be that I just don't like Vin Diesel um because he's the same character in every film. I feel like in every movie he's gonna offer me a Corona, and um, even in like Riddick and stuff, dude. I'm not a Riddick fan or
Neither am
anything.
I.
Like, anywho, yeah, Valiant is such a rich treasure trove of characters, and I think Sony even sold a couple of rights to Paramount. I think Harbinger is being looked at by Paramount, and so yeah, they obviously don't know what they're doing because that's such a great property, and they really it's the third biggest superhero kind of gallery that you have after Marvel and DC,
Yep.
and yet you're not even able to. I mean, hell, Netflix is even doing like Millar World and stuff like that, and feeling successful about it. Amazon's just using one with the boys, and that's just one series, and they're gonna do spin-offs, and so I think they're gonna do well. And man, Valiant, I mean, Toyo Harada is one of the best villains I think in comics. Is one of my favorite, and the whole Harbinger, Bloodshot, Archer and Armstrong is such a great dynamic.
They worked
Um,
really hard on a few. They didn't do crossovers like Marvel and DC for the longest. You had smaller, twosies, threesies here's and there. But I know what was it? Their first really big one was like 2013, 14 or something like that. Like the first time Valiant saw like a massive crossover with like a huge through event. It's
well,
fairly like recent, wasn't it?
Harbinger Wars was a big one, And yeah, that all happened thanks to the leadership of Dinesh Shamdasani, who took over in 2012, along with Warren Simmons, and just like the most wonderful people as far as writers, artists who were just all in on the product. And then DMG took over and fired everyone, and now they're back to garbage. I mean, man, like here's how big they were getting, because they were working on that Bloodshot movie, the entire universe. They're being very careful with it, and then they're also working with TBS and the Russo brothers for Quantum and Woody. That was supposed to happen, but I have it on good authority that the people who took over dropped the ball. So and then the books have not been the same ever since. And all those creators now are actually over at a new publishing company called Bad Idea, and such
Turning out not to
phenomenal.
be such a bad idea. Hell.
Actually, it's a great idea. They have crazy marketing schemes. They have crazy incentives that honestly sound horrible, but they've done the job, man. Yesterday, no, 2 days ago, Wednesday was the release of their second book, Tankers, and so they also have ENIAC, and they have quite a few others coming. Whalesville's coming out next month. Really, really good stuff. Just they you can tell when a group of people are super passionate about what they do, and that really resonates in their books. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Sony and Netflix, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. One thing that came up that I saw a comment on, and I know it's a little off topic, but since we're talking Netflix, is somebody had online. I'd seen somebody write. Have you seen that? The last of the Blockbuster, the
Yes.
documentary. Somebody was like, "How shitty is it that Netflix is the one that gets to put out the documentary about the last Blockbuster?"
Yeah. The irony was lost on no one, including Dish Network.
was that a thing for you, by the way? How was that? Was that a Blockbuster?
The movie was cool. And actually, like, you know, going down that memory lane wraps us right back around to horror. Rental stores are how I found horror.
Yeah,
you know,
cool boxes.
Yeah, it was always that section that was really creepy when you were younger, and then just you get more courage to go deeper down the aisle as you go down the horror rabbit hole. And anime was the same for me. Rental stores, Hollywood Video, Hastings, Blockbuster, local and regional stores. All of those key in my discovering Tromaville, the Toxic Avenger. Like everyone knew that, but stuff like Tromeo and Juliet, eventually things like Poultrygeist coming out, which my favorite band, Newfound Glory, did the that main song in there. They did the Poultrygeist theme song, if you will, under a different name. I can't remember the band name that they use, but it's Newfound Glory, because their guitarist is cool with Kaufman. Yeah, and the guys at Trauma, they did a music video. They've done a couple for them. Head On Collision, and one more round. One more round is gory. It's the band being like cut with chainsaws and beaten and stabbed by all these special effects people, and it's just blood everywhere. They're all wearing white. The instruments are white. It's a great music video. One more round from Newfound Glory. And
wow,
yeah, the rental stores, man. I would love to say to join in that nostalgia wave of man, these kids just will never know what it's like to to walk down the horror aisle or an anime aisle. I'll be honest, I loved that. I wouldn't trade it, but people actually have way more access to more horror and anime than I ever did, and the ability to discover new things is one of the best things about streaming. But
I think, and also just to flip that coin on you, it also when the movie wasn't there that you wanted, it also forced you to try different things out, because you weren't going to leave the video store without a movie.
No,
you
got in the car, you went,
yeah.
Parents were pissed because they didn't want to go, but you insisted, and you're going to come out of there with something. Yep.
Absolutely. So it and then also it forced you to be patient, because there wasn't that instant gratification of clicking a button and it's there. You know, you had to put some work in it. And by all means, I'm not saying that we should go back to the old days, because I love just having access to everything here. But it taught you a different set of of qualities that you can't necessarily get anymore. There was also the fact that you would have to negotiate sometimes with your parents, with the fact that, because your dad wanted to get a movie too.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you wanted 2 movies, or as a family that day you were getting 1.
Yeah.
So it's an experience. Plus it's a community thing. You have other people there. Maybe you see friends, or maybe we had a local place. It was called Video Maniacs in Berkeley, and it's the same guy, right? So you're able to talk to him, and sometimes he has recommendations or things like that, something new that you didn't know about, or or
it's
your
like
favorite
a comic
thing.
shop.
Right. I was gonna say it's like a comic shop. It's like, well, he liked this. It's like, hey, you should probably try this one out too. Then, my horror movie that got those juices flowing was the box for It. It was just in the corner. It was kind of ripped down, and he had the kind of the alien hand or whatever sticking out, and it was the clown. And I was like, what is this? So that was
the thing was cool. I wonder if it will be cool.
So the funny thing about that is that my dad didn't let me get that movie, so I read the book. I went to the library and checked out the book, and I read it first before watching it.
How old were you?
I don't know. I was like, what, 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that.
Did you grasp the ending of the book?
Not immediately, no, but
still good. Good. Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah. I was going to agree 100%. There is a double-edged to that streaming sword, because I've done it where it's like, I want to watch something new. Click, 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 click. No, you know what? I saw Scrubs a few pages back. I went for a comfort item, something I've already seen, instead of, like you said, being like, I'm not leaving without something. What looks interesting? You know, what is similar? So I get, there's a double-edged to it. And the biggest thing I wonder about this Sony and Netflix deal is, for those that don't follow the business side of it, we talked a little bit earlier this week. Netflix operated in the red for a very long, like, even Stranger Things, outside of initially outside of subscriptions, they weren't making money off of it. It was a lease. It was exclusive. No one else could use it. But the Duffer brothers were taking the overwhelming majority of money made outside of subscriptions for it, and that was their model for the longest time. Lease it, subscriptions. And they finally started getting enough things that they could actually make money off of, you know, merchandise and t-shirts and Blu-ray home video sales, which is weird to buy a Blu-ray set of a thing on Netflix, but I guess extras.
No, some people honestly just love having that hard copy, man.
For certain things, I agree, because I'm a bit of an audio visual file. Not like, I don't fucking calibrate my I need to because I do video editing, but in general I'm not like that but I don't like compressed audio. I don't like compressed video. I don't like seeing I'm a PC gamer at heart. I'm used to looking at higher end screens anyways than my TV is normally capable of. So it's like, no, I want the best out of it. So, but that's my curiosity is I don't think Netflix is willing to make those types of just straight up let us lease it and get subscriber deals. So I'm wondering what else they got out of Sony and how much did Amazon bet on it, and how did Netflix beat Amazon? Because do you think there's any chance in hell Amazon and Netflix weren't Kong versus Godzilla over Sony? I bet it was.
I'm not sure. I feel like Amazon is also in a pretty good place.
You don't think they want those Spider-Man movies and shit to fight,
yeah,
against Apple and Disney?
Yeah, but most of the Spider-Man movies don't they go to Disney as far as distribution afterwards?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe Netflix just threw a lot more money and it just didn't make sense for Amazon.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sony, I just God. You guys, thank you so much for listening this week. Manny, now you got anything else before I do all the close out?
Sony's gonna cut my boy Kyle's life short by 3 years, if it hasn't already. Please stop
making stuff.
Stop hurting my boy Kyle.
I will say this. Thank you everyone that actually listened to the podcast. We actually got some positive feedback about our discussion on Ghostbusters. Those that just looked at the funny picture and the title and made up assumptions, please go listen to the episode. We are legitimate fans that were not just ripping it. We had concerns and questions, and at the end of the day, we still said this could be a cool movie. It just might not be a cool Ghostbusters movie because you really can't ever make Ghostbusters again. It's almost impossible. But thank you guys for listening. Go check it out. Great discussion. Thank you to our sponsors, Grow Generation. Make sure you guys check them out at the link in the description below. LRMonline.com every day. All your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. The YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified whenever we post new interviews, podcasts, videos. There will be a special 1-year Final Fantasy VII remake anniversary show with Brian and I. We did the 8-hour day 0 release where we played the game for 8 hours and then podcasted an immediate review of those 8 hours the morning of. And so we're doing a 1-year anniversary for that on Saturday. And of course, the podcast network, all those great shows in audio format. If you can't do the video thing where you're at work or whatever, subscribe, hit the follow button, all that good stuff. Manny, where can people find you at online, and what big cool interviews do you got coming up, man?
On Twitter, you can find me at LRM_Emmanuel, and on Instagram, you can find me at riddlemethis_510. I have a cool interview with filmmakers for a documentary that is questioning the legitimacy of Shakespeare's work as far as him being an author. It was a fantastic conversation. It's a fantastic documentary on Amazon Prime. I also have in 2 weeks, a week of the release, I have a couple of interviews with Joe Talism. He is Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat, as well as the director, Sam McQuoid, Oh, Jesus, I hope I didn't butcher that name. I think that's correct. Among other things. And so, yeah, just I also an interview with the writer for a book looking into autism, as April is a month of acknowledgement and recognizing autism for what it is. So, yeah, lots of stuff from everything, top and bottom, and everything in between.
Yeah, you guys find me at that Kyle Malone on Twitter, at that one Kyle Malone on Instagram. Fuck with Shakespeare. That's right, Courtney.
Oh wow!
That documentary right there is gonna be your gift. My sister's an English teacher, and I'm gonna insist that sits in your classroom. So
we agree that the works were fine, man. It's the legitimacy of the authors.
That's it. I hate everything except A Midsummer Night's Dream. I do. I can't stand it. And I have this thing with my sister where we're always ragging on my dad, and I ragging on her for her love of with Shakespeare. And I always bring up that, you know, he's fake. He stole it all. He never existed. I love doing that and calling him a terrible writer. But yeah.
Oh, fuck you for doing that right at the end after the closing segment. All right.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.